Good evening, all you wisdom walkers out there, and welcome to Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. I only hesitated because I'm also getting ready to broadcast my radio program. But this is Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery on YouTube, which I stream at the same time that I am recording a blog talk radio show through Black Hole Radio. And it's my great pleasure to be here tonight, here at the beginning of February, to roll out some more spiritual spills, as I call them, to help you navigate through this incredible, incredible time and growth and healing that humanity is going through on the planet at this time. I've just got about a couple of more minutes as my intro music is playing. And excuse me, I got to sneeze. Almost missed it. And so I'm just going to do a little banter with you while I wait for that music to stop, and then I can officially begin. Excuse me, that really was a good sneeze. I'm glad I'm getting these sneezes out of the way now, because when I start talking to the show, the last thing I want to be doing is sneezing. And I'll drink a little water too. So this month I've got some shows lined up for you that I'm really excited about, because February is a month that has a lot of cultural events in it, including Groundhog's Day, Valentine's Day, in America, President's Day. Then, of course, you have Black History Month going on. And in 2 more days, it'll be Chinese New Year's. And so it's a really interesting month full of a lot of activity. And so I thought, why don't I use those cultural events, or at least 4 of them I'm going to use this month, to highlight this understanding of truthful transformation, what it means when we are truthfully transforming ourselves. And I decided that, wow, this would be really, really interesting to do, interesting to use these cultural events to think about how we are truthfully transforming ourselves. What is it in these cultural events that helps us to be more conscious about that? And I think that that'll be really good. So the music is almost over. As you can see, I'm still like, let me get this into the good frame. I really would start this recording, the live stream, at 5:05, but the music actually stops like about 5:04. And so, yeah, it's just, anyway, but I hope you don't mind that I get to see myself still together before I actually begin the actual show. And I thank you so much for your patience. And now I get to take my phone off of mute and start the official beginning. Good evening, and welcome to Wisdom Walk here on Black Hole Radio and on a YouTube live channel, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojopahmaria Nsoroma, and February is the first of 3 fire months in this mineral year of clarity, confidence, and courage. It's a month full of the energy of transformation. So it's a perfect time for us to consciously work on transforming ourselves to be more true to ourselves. My 4 broadcasts this month will explore 4 aspects of truthful transformation found in America's and others significant cultural events this month of Groundhog Day, Chinese New Year's, Valentine's Day, and Black History Month. Tonight, I'll be sharing wisdom and insights on accountability and how it's illustrated through the iconic movie about a man caught in a time loop of February the 2nd. Now, for those of you listening in for the first time, let me give you a brief overview of what Wisdom Walk is. Wisdom Walk is a personal development resource for your mind, body, and soul. My ministry is any pain that is not transformed will be transferred. So the goal of my shows is to essentially help you to learn how to recognize and release any pain that is blocking you from your happy endings in life, or what I like to call also fulfillment in life. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, I broadcast live on both Black Hole Radio and YouTube Live here on my channel, unless I'm on hiatus. If for some reason you can't access the internet to listen or watch this program, you may listen to the live radio broadcast and or call into the show at this number. It's area code 563-999-3089. And also the web link that I do provide for the radio broadcast through my Facebook page, which is called Wisdom Walk Radio, or you may also get it in a constant contact email. That link becomes an archive link once the show is done. So if you're unable to listen live, you can definitely listen later. And of course, you may access my YouTube Live video on my channel, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. It'll be there. But right now, I invite you to sit or lay back and join me for an exploration of the inner landscape, where you can connect with your soul and discover the true treasure of being human. Now, every week on the broadcast, I always like to begin by first honoring the ancestors. And because tonight is about accountability, I wanted to really make sure that we called up those ancestors that were able to demonstrate and actually hold us accountable. Or hold the family accountable, hold somebody accountable. And just want to share a quick story from my own life about that. And it was Cousin Mildred. And Cousin Mildred, I believe, was on my mother's side of the family. She was a cousin to my grandmother. And we had moved into a house on Staten Island out of a one-bedroom apartment with 3 adults and 3 children. Now we had this house with more bedrooms. So now family was able to come up from Philadelphia and Wilmington and Washington, D.C. to visit. And so we were getting this visit from Cousin Mildred. And Cousin Mildred was real old school. You know, she'd grown up in the 20s and whatnot. And so she had some very, clear understanding about children and children's behavior and what her job was with children, which was to make sure that we were proper. So all of us sucked our thumbs. And I can remember Cousin Mildred right away was like, oh, no, you are not going to be sucking your thumb. And I was still sucking my thumb when I was in the 1st grade. So I was like maybe about 7 years old when Cousin Mildred came to visit, and I was still sucking my thumb. I know my sister she was 10, and my brother definitely when he was 8. And she was just like, oh no, we ain't having that. Ain't no thumb sucking going on here. And we were really taken aback. I remember that. I don't know if my brother and sister remember, but I remember. I was like, I ain't give up my thumb. Are you crazy, woman? Like, of course I would never say that, but that what was going on in my mind. I was like, give up my thumb. But she was adamant. And when I would try to put it in my mouth, she'd come with her hand and she'd pull out. No, not sucking that thumb. Not going to do that. It's going to mess up your teeth. You need to leave that alone. And there were just some other things. Like she had her set of rules and responsibilities and regulations. And we were like, and it wasn't that my mom and my grandma and grandfather didn't have their rules and regulations. And we went by that. Like you did not sit on the living room furniture unless there was a special event going on. It was covered in plastic and it was not for children to be sitting on and playing on. You did not do that, right? So we knew we had, those kinds of things. But Aunt Mildred, she just came with a whole bunch of more things. And it was just like, oh my God, I can't wait for this woman to leave. And I hope she never comes back again. And, what Aunt Mildred was doing, though, was really very helpful because she was really helping us learn that, there are things that you shouldn't do. There are things you can do, but there's a lot of things that you shouldn't do. And you're going to have to discipline yourself to not do them. And she would call us out on it. You know, she wasn't going to sit by quietly and not say anything. Like she called it out. And I'm sure she knew, like, oh man, I'm upset in this household, but she didn't care because she's clear. Like, oh, we doing accountability here. So I am so grateful to her because as I grew up and became an adult and got into situations, especially job situations where I had to be very proper, I was very grateful. I remembered that, like, oh yeah, I can do that. It's like, I know how to do that, you know, because cousin Mildred taught me that I can know how to do that, along with many other people. But I want you to just take a moment to think about your Aunt Mildred's or whoever in your family was able to hold you accountable. The person who knew how to, you know, set for you a bar. Someone who said that, you know, you can do better than that. Because that's what I think accountability is really about. It really is us setting a bar and saying, okay, I can do different. That's better. I can do something better here. Or I can stop doing something that really isn't helping me, that isn't going to be good for me. I can stop that. So think about that person, hold them in your head, speak their name aloud as I did, cousin Mildred, and call them up. Because as we move forward in our journey, as I talked about last broadcast about becoming mature, what maturity is really about. And as we're moving ahead in this new time, in this new age, to really get to fulfillment and happy endings in life, we're going to need how to hold ourselves and others accountable. So here's our prayer. Don't need the glasses for that. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the blessing of the ancestors in our lives. And we are calling out to them this evening at this time in this way, and to ask and thank them for coming forward to help us with accountability. For truly, we want to move away from whatever times we are stuck in, whatever repetitive behaviors we're doing that really aren't supporting us, that are not going to get us to our winning line, to places we want to be and go in life. And so we welcome you. We welcome your support, your guidance, your wisdom, and your love to help us push through, break out of, to learn how to discipline and hold ourselves accountable for that which doesn't serve us, and to adopt new ways of thinking, new ways of doing, new ways of being, so that we can get to a life of fulfillment and happy endings. And so, Creator, I am so grateful to you for the ancestors and for their being in our lives and their supporting of our lives. And I ask and I thank you for the blessing of accountability in the name of all that is holy. I say amen. Ashe, Ahosa, Ashe, so it is. Ashe. So there we go. The ancestors are working with us, I want to, before I get into the meat of the program, and for those of you whose time may be such that you want to get right to the meat of the program, usually my timing is that I do this opening of honoring the ancestors and doing some astrological and elemental wisdom. And that usually takes about a good half hour from the time that I go on and say hello. And so you can get to the half hour mark, and the last 30 minutes is usually when I'm really focusing on the topic for the night. So just a word, because I know how busy people can be, but I know they still want to get access to these spiritual spills. But I do, of course, recommend that you take time to listen, take time out, take this hour out and listen to the whole thing. Because again, I think calling up the ancestors, if you do nothing else to begin your week, do that. Do that. Call on them. We need all the help we can get in this world today. So elemental wisdom, starting off with that for this Tuesday. And again, February is a fire month, and that's all about transformation. So this Tuesday, which is the first day of the week that January the 1st fell on. So that's why I call it the beginning of the week. So the Tuesday, the 5th will be a Earth Week. An Earth Week. Yeah, and that'll go to next Monday. And so the opportunity in this Earth Week is about receiving support, receiving support. The message is that you are worthy. So embrace the power of self-love and honor the energetic of the earth element as you open yourself to receive what is needed to be fulfilled, nurtured, appreciated, and loved. Be self-full. It's not selfish. It's about self-full, meaning like put your oxygen mask on first. This is cosmic reciprocity for all that you have done to support others. You deserve it. Ask and you shall receive. So that's the elemental energy of this week. That's all about receiving, getting the support that you need, and believing that you deserve it. Now, of course, with every opportunity, there can be distractions. And so here are 3 that you want to be on the lookout for this week. The first one is the fear of hearing no, because when we ask for help, we put ourselves into a vulnerable situation. And so a lot of times people don't even ask for help. They avoid asking for help because they don't want to experience hearing a no. You need to let that go. Because if you hear a no, that doesn't mean you can't hear a yes. You're just hearing a no from this person or this situation. But move on. Go to another person, another situation. Eventually, you'll get to that yes. The second distraction is the fear of being a burden. So this gets into self-judgment. Like, I shouldn't be in a situation where I need help. I shouldn't have to be asking anybody for anything. I should have figured this all out myself, And then there are some circumstances where that's probably true. But if you are in a situation where you can't do it on your own and you do need help, you need to ask for it. And you shouldn't consider yourself a burden, because if somebody does say yes to you, they should have figured out how they can be of service without, holding you responsible for them saying yes. That's why you never say yes, especially to lending money, if you're not in a position where you don't need it back. If you give away money, especially to somebody who's desperate and really needs it, you can kiss that money goodbye. And that's family and friends, because clearly they're in a bad way. And so, that's the kind of self-responsibility we need to take on when we're doing that. But again, if you approach somebody for help and you're believing you're a burden, that's the energetic they're going to pick up, and so you will get a no. But if you approach them as, okay, I'm in a bad way, or I'm just having a problem right now, I know it's going to change. I know I'm going to get out of this. And you come with a more hopeful, some more confidence that your situation is going to change, then people are more likely to say yes to you. So it's like you got to say yes to yourself first, and let go of thinking that you're a problem. Now, if you're somebody who's taking advantage, if you are caught up in a loop so that you're constantly in need, that you need to work on. That you really need to work on. You need to get still and figure out, what is this about that you're playing victim? Because that's real victim consciousness going on there. So, again, but when you are, taking responsibility and doing things and moving things and following your dreams, there's going to be times when you really need some help financially, materially, psychologically, whatever. And, you can believe that you are deserving of that. And last but not least, distraction of the fear of being judged as weak or a failure. Again, more of that negativity, that shooting on yourself. And if you hold on to that to try and get help, again, it puts up a barrier. It makes it hard for people to want to help you because, it's like there's no reciprocity energy in it. If I go to ask for help I want to do it from a place of strength and love, not fear and weakness, not judging myself like, oh, I'm so bad. I shouldn't have to be doing this, and, receive the help. And then, set an intention like, okay, I'm going to figure out how not to put myself in this position, or I'm going to figure out how to make sure if I'm in this position, I can get out of it as quickly as possible. And all of that is helpful. Now, next week we will have Tuesday being February 12th, which is Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and that will be of course, I'll tell you all about that in the next broadcast. Here's to you. So, astrologically, tomorrow, February 4th and into the 5th, especially depending on where you're living around the world, we are going to have a new moon, and it's in the sign of Aquarius. So from one of my favorite astrologers, Barbara Goldsmith, I have some information for you about that. She says, this new moon, and new moons are always about a new beginning. It's right, because the moon has gone through its phases. It's 29 days, and now it gets to reset and start all over again. So it is very indicative that we are at a new beginning. Old folks used to say that's when you cut your hair. You cut your hair on the new moon because you're starting new, and you're giving it now, and you're going to be able to allow it to grow. So she says this new moon coincides with the Chinese New Year of the Earth Pig.